You know, it's hard to speak in front of a camera when no one's listening to you. That's just painful. How's it going, guys? This is Rio Murata. We are back better than ever. I'm a photographer based in Tokyo. It is freaking hot outside. It's like 37 degrees in Tokyo, and I don't want to go outside. It is sweltering hot. Oh my goodness. So this is going to be like a big jump from my previous video. I was like feeling really lazy, so there was a couple of things I actually changed in this video. One is, in my previous video, I actually shot with a Fuji X-T3 camera. If you guys don't know, it's a mirrorless camera which does not have a flip out screen, so I can never see myself. I don't know if it's being recorded, and it was a hectic experience. So right now I swapped that out and I'm actually shooting with a DJI Osmo action camera right now with an external microphone, external softbox, so you can see my beautiful face, so hopefully this will make my life a lot easier, so I can see, because the DJI Osmo action camera it's on sale right now. It's like really cheap and you can see yourself being filmed, and it just works perfectly for YouTube. Obviously you need an external microphone to like record crisp audios. To talk about my switch from a Hasselblad 500C camera to a Fuji GW690 camera, which is right here. So I switched from the Hasselblad 500C to this camera. People say that the Hasselblad 500C is the pinnacle of photography. No doubt about it. It shoots one of the best photos out there. If you see my previous videos, it's safe to say that it is the perfect camera for some people, but the one that I had so many issues. It had issues regarding the shutter jamming, the shutter wouldn't fire even if the dark side was like taken out, and because if you know about the Hasselblad and the Mamiya RZ67, it has a separate back which you attach to, a film back basically, due to mechanical issues and stuff like that. I actually ended up selling that camera. It is sort of like a sad decision for me, but you have to move in life, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I ended up selling that Hasselblad 500C camera and replaced it with the Fuji GW690. They're both medium format cameras, but this one, on the other hand, is a really special camera. If you guys know, the Hasselblad shoots with a 6x6 format, so on the exact same film, 120 film, you can get 12 shots on a Hasselblad, but the exact same film on the GW690, you can only get 8 shots. For some people, that's a big negative. For me, if you actually see my previous video, you might have noticed that I actually don't shoot that many shots when I'm shooting film. So it's a big bonus for me, because there are times when I shoot with 35mm film camera and I only shoot 10 shots per day, and a lot of people freak out when I say that because I don't shoot that many shots, and that's something that I actually taken into account. So it's not a big negative for me to switching over to a format that's larger than the 6x6, but it actually makes me think a lot more because I'm constrained within that realm of being only able to shoot 8 shots. People don't know much about the 690 Fuji 690 GW series camera. Initially, this camera, a lot of people don't know because it's it's surfing under the radar of majority of photographers. This camera was initially made for school photography group, mostly for group photos, and this is a distinct culture of Japan actually. So back in the days, a lot of schools had some sort of photographer who basically documented the lives of kids, elementary, middle school kids, and the parents would basically buy these photos back in the days. But when you take a group photo of 50, 100 people, a lot of people might know the true fact about this, but you really need a high megapixel camera nowadays. You need a super high megapixel camera to shoot group photos, because you really want to know who each and every person is in that photo, and you're like shooting with a wide angle lens, and when you zoom in on your like PC, you know who that person is. Obviously nowadays most cameras have high megapixels, but back in those days there was only that 35mm film, and if you got ever shot with a 35mm film camera and like scanned it at high res, there are times when you can't see that fine detail of every person in that photo. So that was actually the main reason why Fuji made this type of camera, to sort of because there was a demand for that. They wanted to supply that demand. So that's how this like camera came into light. But unfortunately, after like year 2000 or so, a lot of photographers like shifted from film photography to digital. So only the what you call the super high enthusiasts and what you call the artists remain in that field of film photography. So it kind of died out, as you may know. The main reason besides that I like bought this camera was obviously I don't know if it's the right word, but it's a utilitarian camera type of camera, meaning that it's simple to use. It's similar to the Nikon F3 that I own. So it's not a SLR, it's more like a rangefinder camera, similar to the GFX50R that Fuji has on their lineup for their mirrorless lineup. The viewfinder's on the left side. There's a lever on the right side. There's no film inside, unfortunately, and you can just basically select how many exposure, what type of roll you're using. But right now there's only 120 film rolls right now, so it's like stuck there. There's a hot shoe and a film counter at the top, and that's basically it. And it's like the exact same style as a SLR, so less components compared to the Hasselblad, which is a big bonus for me, which also means that it's less likely that it will jam and break down. But you never know, because I purchased this like a month ago, not a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't used it through its paces, so you never know when it might break down. But all in all, I think I chose the right decision for that too. I actually thought of making a review of this camera, but unfortunately when I looked at YouTube, there was already a guy who did a perfect job of reviewing this camera, so it didn't make any sense to like do a review on this camera. But hopefully in the future I will make some kind of like sort of content regarding how I shoot with this camera, and like my previous video where I shot with my Hasselblad, that type of video, like a photo walk around Tokyo, to sort of showcase how I shoot it, and yeah, showcase some of my artworks to the public, and hopefully you guys can like enjoy that video. Since regarding to this camera, like feel free to like comment below in the description below. I'm happy to reply. And what's interesting is that there's not much cameras that's being sold within Tokyo, and the one that I purchased was actually the last one that was being like sold within a used camera shop. So yeah, if you have any questions, like leave it in the comments below like I just said, and hope you guys liked it. We'll see you next time.